Hello there, and welcome to Stanley Chess. I'm Stanley, and we're going to talk about some chess. I played a game the other day that had a really cool checkmate at the end, so make sure you stick around to see that. Alright, let's get into it here. I've got a chessboard here. Shocker! I'm playing with the black pieces. And we start off with a Caro-Kann. If you don't know what the Caro-Kann is, this is the Caro-Kann. Congratulations, you learned something. We have an advanced variation. You learned something else. Bishop comes out to f5, and this move f4, which if I'm being honest, I'm not entirely familiar with this move. I mean, I'm only 1700. I'm not super familiar with the depths of opening theory, but you know, I know general ideas, kind of. And I know that h5 is a thing in some advanced Caro-Kann variations where this move f4 is played, so I decided to go with this h5 to control these light squares, because that's what white weakened with this move f4. Anyway, then I comes out to f3, and I play e6, we develop some pieces, the bishop comes out to d3. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. Anytime I play the Caro-Kann and the bishop comes out to d3 like this, I just take the bishop. I don't even think. I just take it. That's the secret. It's not that exhilarating, but I wanted to zoom in on the, the lens because it's fun. Let's zoom back out here. All right. How silly was that? Anyway, so I just take the bishop, and he takes back with the pawn, which was interesting. I mean, I would normally expect the queen because you activate the queen and keep the c-pawn where it should be in case you have to defend your center or push to c4 to attack my center. You know, it's a whole. He's already being a little sus with the knight on c3, blocking the c-pawn, and instead now he's like, you know what, c-pawn. Nah, I don't want a c-pawn. Get it out of here. And I'm like, okay. And here Danya would be proud of me because my knight is going to Frankfurt Airport, taking a brief layover and landing in f5. This is a great square. I mean, this h5 move actually comes in handy because g4 is not a thing right now to kick my knight away. And my knight pressures d4. Pressures d4, not attacking because, it's defended. But still, white gets confused and decides to be passive and defend the pawn again. Overprotection when not necessary. Why not? So bishop comes out to e7. We play a few moves. Queen to b3, queen to b6, challenging. The queen offering queen trade, eyeing that pawn on d4 as well. He castles. And I see, yes, a king on the other side of this diagonal of my queen. Let's open it up, c5. And he's like, that doesn't look very pretty for me, so let's get these queens off the board. And he moves his king off of the diagonal. Why does he do that? It looks a little silly at first, but, I mean, my idea, if rook c1, take, okay, what's the point? Yes, pin. A pin can be quite unpleasant. Because now I've got, two attackers, you have to add a defender. And then, when I was prepping for this video, I was thinking that this move, rook a4, just won on the spot in this position. It doesn't. But I thought, okay, he can't defend the knight again, so what's he going to do? What's he going to do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you got? Anyway. But there is this move b4, apparently, which, apparently, no, it's a simple move, but I didn't see it right away. I thought, takes, I'd win a piece. But you look a little bit further and you see rook c8 check, and then you lose your rook in the corner. So, yeah, there's this move. And you would just want to take or, get the bishop out of here. But, yeah, takes. It looks like you're just up a piece, but then you lose your rook. So that's no good, Nicht so good, yeah. So instead he plays king h1. Getting off the diagonal, safe move. I castle. h3, prepping g4. He's tired of my knight being here. And I think that he wishes he had a c-pawn, because this pawn is quite a nuisance for him. But I decided to take. Maybe I should have left it there just, as a weakness and leave him annoyed with it. But I decided to take it. You know why? Just cause. No. I chop. I wanted my knight on c5, basically. Because now I'm hitting the d3 pawn, and, you know, I've got the open files. My rooks are going to be doing a good job, so that was my whole idea here. And this rook a4 move comes into play on the board. It hits the knight, and I'm also prepping to possibly double rooks over here. And honestly, this rook on the 4th rank does a pretty good job just patrolling that. It looks very strange here, but it's a nice square. It's a versatile square. So the bishop defends the knight, and I double rooks, attacking the pawn on a2, which he defends. Yeah, good job. And I go back. It's a little second. It's like, I'm going to take your pawn. And he's like, no, I'll defend my pawn. I'm like, okay, I'll go back. Yeah. So he plays f5, looking to attack me because, I mean, he's actually got something going on here. I mean, you know, these rooks are coming in, and, I mean, how many arrows can I draw? I don't know. He plays f5. I take it, and the bishop slides back to f8. Disclaimer, I haven't really analyzed this with an engine. I'm just kind of sharing my thoughts on the game because I thought it was fun. Anyway, draw my bishop back, just kind of cocooning, hoping that I will survive. I will survive! And the knight jumps into d6. I thought this was a little premature because, I mean, I don't know. The knight's a little flimsy there, especially if this pawn is not, like, super sturdy here. And, you know, it's a little sus. But my rook is hit and f7 is hit a couple times, so I move my rook, defend everything. b4. I would have expected, you know, something like maybe rook f1, double rooks, keep adding pressure, attack me. But, you know, why not attack the knight? I move my knight, and then he plays d4, which I thought was not good. I thought to myself, well, how the turn's tabled. Because now look at the bishop. It's quite sad. I mean, go back a few moves and think here. If I had, like, taken this knight here, look at this. Look at this bishop. The rook. This rook. The bishop. My king. The board. I don't know. The bishop is doing stuff, but go forward a few moves, and after b4, d4, the bishop is just staring at his own pawns because, I don't know, didn't want to attack, I guess. Tired bishop, wanted to hang out behind the pawns. Didn't want to be perceived. That's okay. Me too, bishop. So I decided to chop the knight and go after the pawn, because now he can't defend, you know, because bishop is cut off. So he counterattacks my pawns. A few of them fall off the board. And here my knight decides to go on a little joyride. He had a sudden burst of energy. I don't know, maybe he had a cup of coffee or something. But he jumps in, attacks the rook, jumps in and attacks the bishop. Keep in mind, I've got like half the time of my opponent, so I'm just trying to mess with them at this point. And that's why I traded all the pieces. One, I was kind of being attacked, but two, I also just wanted less pieces, so I would have to think less. Yeah. I attack the bishop, and he does not defend the bishop, so I naturally don't take the bishop because that would hang checkmate in one. Yeah. One might think that's a free bishop, and it would be for a move, and then the game would be over, and you would lose, so that would be quite tragic. Instead, I give this check, and go back. This knight had the zoomies, okay? Look at that. Even getting like 2 moves in a row here with this check maneuver and then blocking the file, so now checkmate is no longer threatened. And g4. This guy loves pushing his pawns. I don't know why, but he does. You know, why not open up the king and close off your bishop? I mean, this man played f4 in the opening, and then he played b4, and then d4, and then g4. I don't know what's going on, but I take this pawn because that is a free pawn. Yeah, he played g4, but that's just a free pawn. He moves the bishop. I still can't take it because of checkmate. And here I move my rook to close off the e-file. Defended by the pawn, of course, and now I am threatening to take that bishop. So he moves it here and hangs a fork. Yikes! Zoinks! Yeah, that's just a clean fork. I mean, yeah, you take the knight, defends the pawn. It's just a fork. So he moves the rook. I take the bishop. He gets this pawn, and I give a check, forcing the king back. And this is where the fun begins. The king is running out of squares. I push f3. I start, you know, weaving this little checkmate net, all that stuff, evil laughter, blah, blah, blah. And the king only has 2 squares that it can go to. And white sees that naturally and thinks to himself, okay, how about I take away one of those squares and give my king less room and hang checkmate in 2. Feel free to find it. It's quite fun. First, the rook slides into g2, defended by the pawn, forcing the king to the corner in h1. And I felt good about myself here because, you know, I was closing in, and after this move, I saw the mate in 2, which is not terribly hard to see. But whenever I see mate in 2, I get quite happy. Forcing the king to the corner, and the knight jumps in to g3, checkmating the king. The rook takes out the squares, or takes away the squares, and it's defended by the pawn, and the knight delivers the mate. It's quite pretty, actually. Just all of this happening in the corner, and the fact that he did this to himself, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Well, hey, if you made it to the end of this video, I just want to thank you. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. Feel free to leave me, you know, your thoughts in the comments, maybe suggestions for future videos. And, yeah, thanks again. I'll see you around.